Right guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman Studio. Today we've got Armit in the chair. How are you, mate?
Doing really well, thank you.
Good mate, good. So, what's the plan? What are we doing?
Plan is, I am trying to grow my hair out.
Okay.
I've tried a few times, like I think a bunch of people you've probably seen.
Oh yeah.
I've had short hair my whole life, and most recently probably skin fades, short on the top.
Oh, okay.
Not a million miles from what you have.
Okay.
But now I'm just gonna grow this thing out.
Nice.
So,
by the way, can I just say you've got fantastic hair, by the way.
Thanks, man.
And you've got a face shape and a lean enough face that you can pull this right off. So, yeah.
I've never had long hair, and so I think my wife's kind of behind this because she's pushing me to do it. She's like, do it once in your life.
She knows, mate, she knows.
Yeah, so I don't know where growth stops. I haven't cut it for about 3 months.
Okay.
But I'm aiming for something which is kind of, I don't know, like kind of hair or so.
Cool.
But I'm in that classic awkward phase.
Yeah.
When I go to work every day, I start, it looks good. About 10 a.m. is flat, and it's just a disaster. So I need some help.
Got a long way to go, as long as you know that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'll say is maintenance haircuts every 3 months.
Yep.
That's always the first thing. And if it's getting on your nerves,
Yeah.
put a hat on. At the moment, as you can see, I'm just looking at the haircut you've got now, because obviously what is in the chair, we have to work with today. Cool. Now, you've got a very top-heavy hairstyle, very corner-heavy hairstyle, not much going on down here.
Exactly.
So you've got a long way to go down here, okay? Now, this is the hardest bit to grow, because it looks the most untidy. Saying that, there's still hair there. What was the haircut before you came into, like, what was a few months ago, what was it?
So if you look at a picture of me 18 months ago, 12 months ago, you would have seen a proper skin fade.
So how long has this been growing for now?
So kind of probably 3 months without a cut at all.
Okay.
But I've been getting up in size and coming away from that shape for probably about 9 months,
okay.
I would say.
Okay. So what did you ask for last time?
When I went to see my barber, I asked for it probably would have been a 3 or a 4 on the sides.
Okay.
And then I've been trying to keep the length on top as much as possible, which is probably why you see shorter hair and long hair. Because I actually haven't cut this for quite a long time at all.
Probably about 9 months, the top then, isn't it, would you say?
Yeah. And then I think I've been doing 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s on that.
Okay. So you've basically just been going gradually up on the clippers on the back and sides, just to try and have something that's going to look smart and doable. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I think what we need to do today is I think we need to take 2 steps back to go a very big leap forward. Okay, and what I mean by that is I think we might need to take a bit of length off the top to balance the haircut out that you've got now, because we need to start working on this length here. Okay, so this is the bit that's going to be hard to grow out, but we can do things in the meantime now that we can make it look smart. Okay. That's going to look reasonably tidy. But I think what you'll find is if we leave too much of an unbalanced hairstyle growing it out, it's almost like, it's like if you grow out like an asymmetric hairstyle. So you get a lot of guys coming in who've had like a side part and they're growing it out for ages. One side's mega long, the other side's not as long, and you've got to kind of balance it out to then find the shape that you're happy with, and you can grow it into something. I think we need to use the back and sides as a bit of a guide today. So keeping the length that's through here. Yep. So for the camera, through here. Right? Yeah. And taking some of what is on the top down to make it more of a balance, like more of a longer, shorter haircut, if that makes any sense to you. So more than having like a clipper back in size, now we're using this as our guide, more than using the top as a guide. The mushroom effect it's got now, where it's still very short on the sides, very long on top. There might be a difference of like potentially 6 months in growth from the top to the back and sides, because you've been getting the back and sides cut. If you went another 3 months, you just wouldn't know what to do with it. It would be even bigger up here, and you know what I mean. And you've got a very lean face, so it would look even bigger as well. So I think if we can take the shape down a little bit more through here, shorten the sideburns so it looks nice and tidy into the beard, taper them into the beard so that it instantly looks tidier to you, right? And then try and keep as much length elsewhere if we can. I'll tidy your neck up, or maybe just don't want to taper this down too much because you need all this hair. If we keep going shorter down the bottom, you'll never get there. You just got to kind of bite the bullet and go for it. But then what we can do is all this here, we can take shorter, because in that way we'll be working it into this length here. So it will look like there's still a lot of length in it, if you know what I mean, because we're not taking anything off the perimeter around here. But we're just starting to balance this out into like a more of a shorter to medium length.
But it will look like there's a good amount of length still through there.
Oh yeah, you'll still have length in the top. It just won't be as much of a contrast. You'll still have a top heavy hairstyle and all that. It won't be like the same length as the sides. It'll just be a little bit more balanced than what you've got now, so a bit more shape. Because at the moment, when you've been doing it very short on the sides and the back, you end up with this shape. As you can see now, if we could draw you on the mirror it will probably do this, right? Where we want to try and get a bit more boxy, okay? Because I think you need that for your face shape. So I think if we can take, it's mainly sort of here. The middle bit through here could probably do with a little bit off, but it's more these bits. See all these like long bits compared to everywhere else. These are the things that we need to kind of work with. So we start to give you a bit more flow through the sides and the back. And then just taper the sideburns in, leave the back and sides. Maybe we'll just try and maybe put a little bit of texture or thin them out a little bit. But this is the point now where it's make or break. It's, do you grow the sides out and really, really go for it? Or do you end up getting the sides and the back cut short? Because you're in that really itching to get it cut phase. And I know, when I get to this phase, I never go past it. So, and that's, that's exactly most people do. But this is the bit that you need to really work on. And I think if we start to balance the haircuts out now, trust me, you'll benefit from it massively. And it might seem like we are going back, but trust me, we need to.
Let's do it.
Yeah, happy here? All right, cool. Let's give it a shampoo and condition and then we'll get started. All right, man. Sweet. Right, guys, so I have just shampooed and conditioned Armit's hair. Now, he told me something, I don't know if Liam got it on camera, but he told me something that was, that hurt a little bit, to be fair. With a man of such good hair, he doesn't use conditioner. And I asked him, do you use moisturiser? And he said, yeah, probably for the same reason I should use conditioner. I was like, yeah, that's true. But no, all it is that when you've got hair like Armit's, right, you've got this wave, thickness, dark. I mean, there's not an ounce of grey in your hair whatsoever, right? You really want to look after it. And it doesn't feel too oily, so I think you just need to give it a helping hand, and that's all conditioner will do. Just give you a bit of a helping hand with the oil production. So, you said to me that you do it probably every other day or something like that. Did you say when you shampoo it? Yeah. When you shampoo it, use conditioner. Bit like when you wash your face, you use moisturiser, same kind of thing. So just use it in tandem with the shampoo. All right. We need to balance this haircut. So like we were saying at the start, very short back and sides, and then we've got that almost like change of length straight away. We've got short, then long straight away. Long for the back and side, should we say, right? But what we need to do now is we need to separate the back and sides. So horseshoe section, straight in, that will show me exactly where the short areas are and where that sort of transition area needs to be. Come from the hairline, like that, and bring it back. So I'm gonna work this around here. Probably end up having a bit more length through the back as well, I reckon. Yeah, we've got a lot of length sitting through there compared to the underneath, especially towards the nape. So all we need to do is just start to balance this out a little bit better, just so that we can start to grow this out nicely, get a bit more uniformity to it, and then just allow Armit to keep going for another maybe 3 months or so, and then he can pop back in and we can keep it going, really. And in the meantime, I'll send you some really good links to some nice hats, okay? Because you're going to need them. Because if you can't get past this length now,
I'm in trouble, huh?
Yeah, you're in trouble.
So it gets to that point where it actually doesn't. When you have really short hair, and it grows, you can tell it grows really quickly, right? You can tell the difference really quickly because there's just less hair and growth is more substantial.
Yeah.
When you get to this phase, it doesn't actually feel like it's growing anymore. It doesn't look like it's growing anymore. No. It is, obviously. It's not growing at a different pace, I would imagine.
No,
because
not at all.
Just more of it.
Yeah.
You hit that frustration of just like, I'm not getting there fast enough.
But the funny thing is though, you'd wake up one day and you're like, where the hell has all this hair come from? Yeah. And it does that, it almost like it grows overnight. That's what happens when like you hit the nail on the head there, right? When your hair's short, you notice it growing. Yeah. Because you go from like seeing scalp to not seeing scalp to seeing it over the ears to feeling your neck hair to seeing the neck hair in the mirror. You've got all these stages within about 2 months that you notice really quickly. Hit the 3 month mark. Where's it? What's going on? It's just stopped growing. Yeah. Hit the fourth, fifth mark, maybe 5th month mark. You're like, wow, where's all this hair come from? It almost just seems to happen like that. That point is where you get it cut into balance. Yeah. And that's when you get that maintenance trim that we talk about. That's when you get that done. Because you want to try and, you don't want to sacrifice anything off the back and sides at that point because it's so hard to grow. Like we said at the start, it's very hard to grow the back and sides when as a guy, always having clippers or scissors or a short back and sides. I mean, I can say that from my own sort of memory of always having a short back and sides. That's the hardest bit to grow. Yeah. The top I could just leave. Just keep growing and growing and growing. Like basically what you've done. Yeah. Leave the top. We're always used to having more hair on the top. It's the back and sides that we struggle with because it's ingrained in us probably from a young age to have a short back and sides, isn't it? Yeah. All our parents took us to the barbers and we walked out with that, didn't we? Probably a generational thing, I guess. Maybe now, like my kids, they like having the short back and sides, but a lot of their friends have got long hair now. So maybe it might be a bit different when they're in the 20s. They might be used to short hair might feel odd to them.
Yeah,
you never know.
Just clean, wasn't it? I mean, you stick them in the barber show.
That's it, yeah.
Short back and sides.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And done then. So I'm trying to take that down. Nice small sections because the hair is very short, so probably 1 finger in width. That's what we're going for today. And using the guide from behind and the guide from underneath. Yeah, so that is going to instantly balance straight away. So why now then? Why grow your hair now?
I think because I'm not going to have my hair one day, no doubt about that. And if I don't do it now, I'm just never ever going to do it.
Yeah.
And so I know it's going to take a really long time. A year, maybe 18 months, maybe longer, 2 years. I don't know. You tell me. You know.
I don't know either, mate. If I'm honest with you, yeah.
I mean, and you know, it's one of those things. Like the easy thing is just to go and just go and get the bloody skin fade and just go go get back on track kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you look back at photos, and a lot of my friends, sadly, kind of losing their hair a little bit.
Yeah.
I think to myself, I'm relatively fortunate to have okay hair, and so if I don't do it now, I'm just never gonna have done it.
Yeah.
So why not? But you have those moments of come on, let's do it, and then you have moments you look in the mirror at the end of the day and you go, or you look at yourself in the picture and you go, fuck, geez, like wasn't it so much easier when it just when you have really short hair and really short back and side, it's pretty and you had it all your life. It's really easy to do your hair. Yeah, you can do your hair in like a minute. And you're out. So true, you dry it, and it's dry in 60 seconds, and you do it in a minute, and you're out of the door. When you do this, I'm having to I have to, I have to blow dry. I've never had to blow dry my hair in my life. Like
every single client says this. Anybody watching, if you're this guy who's had longer hair for the last maybe year and a half, 2 years, right? Every single client tells me they look at photographs of themselves with short hair and go, "What was I thinking?"
I know. I think
it is honestly crazy how now you're going, "That's the haircut that I want," and then you'll be looking back in a year and a half going, "Why did I ever get a skin fade? What was going on?" Honestly, it's so strange.
And I've had some shocking short haircuts, to be honest with you. When you go into the wrong place and you go up, I'll have a skin fade, and next thing you know, they've taken it. They've taken it so high.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh man.
Yeah. I got a haircut once where I used to always get told by clients, they'd say, "Oh, I went into this barber's and he just did what he wanted. He didn't even ask me what I wanted to have done." I honestly, deep down, between me and you, and everyone's watching obviously, I just didn't believe them. I used to think, no way, would a barber ever just do what he wants? I mean, it's a recipe for disaster, right? That happened to me. I went into a shop. I just walked in, just an old school barber's. I walked in, I sat down, he put the gown on me, and he just got the big Oster clippers. And if any barber's watching Oster clippers, the Oster 97s are basically like sheep shearers. And he threw the quadruple zero blade on, and he went right at the back and sides of it. Didn't even ask me what I wanted. And my hair was probably maybe a third shorter than yours now, right. And it was one of the only times I was thinking about growing my hair. And I thought, well, that's obviously somebody upstairs is going to me, "Dan, you should never ever grow your hair, and this is the reason why." Look, to be honest, I was gutted in a way that it just didn't suit me at all. It was very, very high. I've got that, like, especially back then I had like obviously a lot less white hair, but I still had a band of grey hair, so it was already hard enough to blend my hair in as it was. I always remember people struggling because of like the white hair and the dark hair made it look like I had a line and a wedge. The best thing about it was that I finally believed people when they said to me, "I sit down in the barbers and they do what they want." Because I honestly never believed anybody when they told me that. Because I just couldn't see why you do. As a barber, I just couldn't understand why another barber would do that. Because if you're not happy, it's quite embarrassing in front of other clients for you to turn around to me and go, "I'm really not happy with that." Because it's a bit like, well, what do you want me to do? You know what I mean? There's not much I can do. It's just really embarrassing. It's very awkward. And obviously, I suppose maybe if you're that type of person who doesn't, maybe you don't take your job as seriously as maybe other people do, I guess then that's okay. But I think I just could never get my head around it really. But then when that happened, I was kind of glad it happened to me, because in all fairness, I had really nice haircuts for years and years and years. And this was one of the haircuts I wasn't too happy with. So it made me relate to the clients in my chair more. So in a way, it was a good thing that happened to me.
Loads of people it must happen to so many people where you sit there and you've tried to articulate what you want.
Yeah.
And then you're watching it unfold in front of you, and you just like, you can't do, it's not a Control-Alt-Delete situation, is it? Once it's off, it's off.
Yeah, that's the problem, yeah. if it goes wrong, it goes wrong.
It goes wrong.
They used to say the difference between a good and bad haircut is 2 weeks. It's really not. It's about 6 to 8 weeks, I think, personally, because if you've got something like, say, for example, you get an asymmetric hairstyle, like say, for example, you went in somewhere now, and your next haircut in 3 months' time, they got the clippers and they shaved right down the bottom to a taper, and they took it right off here, and everything else was left on the top. That would take weeks, if not months, to fix your hair. Especially the styles we're going for now lately, it's not 2 weeks to fix a good or bad hair.
Because you have to basically, it's the lowest
so much more to it,
right?
nowadays.
You got to basically build back the lowest bit.
Yeah.
And actually, this is the longest it's ever been.
Yeah.
It's not even that long yet, but it's as long as it's been.
But the thing is, though, it's long to you, and that's the main thing, right? So we need to make sure that we can try and manage it now as we're at now. I'm just going to tidy up this little bit of neck hair here, just to give you a bit of a smarter finish. But again, we want to try and keep as much hair as possible, okay? Because we are growing it out. So I wouldn't start tapering this out at the moment, because we need the neck hair. Like the neck hair is kind of like, especially the nape, is very important, because that's the perimeter. That's the thing that when you see anyone with long hair in any of our videos, or anyone just on the street, right, that what you see hanging down to the shoulder is the nape. Right. We can't dismiss that yet. If you don't like the curls at the bottom, or if maybe it never gets full, it never gets like looking tidy or whatever, then when you've got a lot of length in it, then we can taper the nape a little bit more. Then we can leave the hair hanging over it, and you'll never know. But for now, just keep it growing out, and then just get past that length, and then we can cut it in. It's a bit of a pain for pleasure situation right now. It's like, it might not look great for the next few months, but it will look amazing when it's done. You know what I mean? Depending on what you want to look for, like what you want to achieve. But I think for now, just try and do as little to it as possible. You know what I mean? But what we're going to do now, I'm going to connect in the top a bit more. Okay? So I want to take away that sort of like heavy round here, and try and keep as much on the top as we possibly can. I'm going to bring a section in through here, and I'm going to connect this as low down as possible. Okay? To about here. So again, we're not taking a huge amount off, but we're just taking enough off that gives you a much more balanced look and feel, and the way you can style it. I want, you know, growing your hair right should be a bit of fun. It shouldn't be as stressful as some people make it, right? It shouldn't be hard. It should, you know, it should be time to experiment, right? You don't want it to be too hard. So I want to, as I always say, every 3 months, get a maintenance haircut, then you can start to really experiment with your hair. You know what I mean? You can see what length you like it at. You might take a photograph and go, oh, I really liked it when it was like 5 months in. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and it might be that actually somewhere along the way I go, actually, that's the length.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So have you got an end goal in mind? I know you said shoulder length, but have you seen anything that you like the look of, or?
Yeah, so I've been, yeah, I have. So I've got a picture on my phone I can show you actually.
Oh yeah, you show me at the end if you don't mind.
Yeah, we'll do. It's cool, man. I think shoulder length is roughly where I'm aiming, but kind of like I said, it's if something comes up along the way and I'm like, that's a good look, or that suits me, or I like it, then happily stop.
Yeah.
But I think down to the shoulder, in a worn kind of slicked back, but not super slicked back.
Okay, like a lived-in brush back.
Like a lived-in brush back, not like a comb back.
Yeah.
With some texture and a little bit of shine.
Yeah, cool. I think that's great, mate. That sounds really awesome. Yeah. I put enough texture in there that we could pop a little bit of powder in and just have a little tiny bit of movement, right? But the powder is great for longer hair. Like I'm sure there's a lot of our videos over the past year or so where I've used powder and it's been very long hair, right? Yeah. And I think it is a kind of it's a bit of a universal product.
It's the first time in my life I've not known what product to use and how to properly style my hair. So I'm caught between those phases of clay, pomade, even chucked a bit of hairspray in there, and it's just been a disaster.
Hairspray's hairspray. You've got to be careful with hairspray, man. It can go one way or the other. If you don't know what you're doing with it, it can be it can be quite big.
Yeah, which I don't.
Yeah. So it's all about when you apply the product. That's the first key thing I can show you what to do. Right, when you get to the length you want to get to is when do you apply product. okay? Now, when you've got shorter hair, it's generally just, you can just get the hairdryer, blast it through, seconds, right?
Yep.
Bit of product, done, out the door. You don't really care how it looks. As long as it looks half decent, you put a bit of product in, you're all right, right? When you've got longer hair, a lot of people are like, oh God, this is gonna take ages. And it does, it takes a bit longer to dry, right? So what a lot of the times you wanna do is actually apply the product when the hair is towel dried, and then style it when it dries. Because the product, most of the time, if I can recommend the right product, it will stay in the hair and it will absorb into the hair. So you'll still have product in your hair, but it just won't look like you have, but it'll feel like you have.
Yeah, I actually find my hair looks better the next morning.
Yeah.
Maybe it's for the same reason. Sometimes I start my hair and I'll say, and then when I wake up the next day and I give it a little shake around, I'm like, oh, it actually looks better right now. That's
why salt sprays do so well. To get if they're doing something like, they've got I've got a couple of clients who do a lot of events and stuff like that, and they get invited to places and whatnot. And if I'm unavailable to style the hair, what they always do, and this is something I kind of suggested this years ago, right? And it was a bit of a kind of joke, but it ended up working out quite well, especially for one client. I said to him, when you get home, style your hair, blow dry it, get your brush, blow dry it properly. It's got a bit like what you were saying earlier on about the kind of coming back a little bit, but not shoulder length. It's probably maybe like a medium to short length. And he blow dries it back. He likes it really disheveled, right? Back and sides are a little bit tighter, but the top is very messy, right? It's very straight hair as well. I've said to him, take your time the night before and blow dry it. You've got nothing on. You're sitting at home. Get your salt spray, get your creams, blow dry it all in, style it, go to bed. Got your event the next morning or the next afternoon. Style your hair in the morning after you've slept on it. Yeah. If you want it to look like bedhead, give yourself proper bedhead. It's the best advice I can give, because as long as you don't wake up and it's just one clump on the back, there's a bit of a gamble. But as long as you wake up and you've slept all right, you haven't tossed and turned and whatnot, you can wake up with the product where the oil, you've sweated a little bit in the night, it's kind of worn into the hair product a little bit. You get that real heavy texture in the hair that I can't recreate. It's very hard to recreate actual bedhead hair in the space of, 5 minutes, for example. You've got to spend the 8 hours in bed to create the movement and the way the hair is bent at an angle that very hard to create. It might sound a bit odd, and it might sound like to some people unhygienic and that, which it's not really, but to some people they don't like the thought of putting product on the hair before they go to bed and stuff. But if you want a really textured finish the next day, you get a blow dry it really well because you're not in a rush. You've got all the time in the world because you're only going to bed. You're not like against the clock in the morning trying to make everything work. All I need to lose off the top is that. Okay, that's it. So we've kept a lot of the top. I've just hopefully made it sit and grow out easier for you. But I was going to ask you a question actually. With this growing phase that you're in now, do you ever find? I'm sure this is very relatable. This question, right? If anybody is watching and relates to this question, please leave us a comment and let us know what you think. But do you ever find that it's a Sunday morning or afternoon, you've got nowhere to go, your hair looks amazing. Monday morning, can't style it. Do you find that your hair always seems to look its best when you're just sitting around the house and you've got nowhere to go? What is I don't even know why that is. Do you think that's because you are relaxed?
I don't know. Maybe it's the lack of pressure you're putting on yourself for it to actually look good. That's it. Sometimes I just put as I've been growing, I put my hand through it and I think to myself, actually looks pretty good if it does that. And it sits one way and then it sits another way, and then my daughter jumps on me and then she messes around with it and then it looks terrible. And sometimes it looks really good when she does it. So I don't know if she's gonna end up being into hair. So I'm just putting the razor through this now. This is just going to give you lift, movements. It's called secondary shape, right? Okay. So the primary shape is what we just cut into the haircut. So the shape of the haircut is the primary shape. This is the secondary shape. This is the thing that's going to be emphasized with product. This is the thing that's going to help you style it for longer. And hopefully going to look good longer as well. But the primary shape again will help with that too. Just little bits, just to give you a little bit of something. It's going to be one of these things, right? You'll see this on the before and after, right? You might not notice it too much when your missus probably will, but you might not notice it too much. You might think, well, it's done, actually done. And I can talk you through it. You'll be like, maybe I can see that a little bit. Yeah. But when you see the before and after on this video, you'll really see what we've done. Because it is so subtle, but when you compare it next to what you came in with, to what you're going to walk out with, just the little things that we've done to the hair,
it's a big difference. You know what I mean? And you will notice it in terms of shape that we've cut in. Hopefully you see it today, but you'll definitely see it on the video if you rewatch it. You know, if you reshare it. And
I hate watching myself editing it, mate, so I'll just let my wife do the watching, and she'll grade me and give me tips for next time. Yeah.
Second day feel, right? Second day look. Salt spray. Spray it over.
Well, mate, you know, if I come in there and I ask for that short back and sides.
Liam's got this on camera, yeah.
Short back and sides. Show me the door.
Oh, yeah, it slides open, and I'm pretty sure I can eject the seat that way. So, right. So, bit of salt spray, bit of heat. Honestly, I'm not even using a brush. I've just got a nozzle on, bit of salt spray. That's it, right? And all I'm doing is I'm just drying your hair, and I'm just scrunching your hair through. I'm not using a diffuser. I don't want to emphasize curl. I want to emphasize wave and texture. That's it. Because I don't think the curl is really there yet. I think it'd just be looking a bit too wiry if we did that right now. I think what you came in with was nice, so I want to try and give you the same, walk out with the same kind of texture. So a nozzle adds a bit of lift. It brings out the razor that we were just putting in there. That's what we call root lift. So all I've tried to do today is give you a more balanced version of what you came in with. So that's the drying process done, right? Now, this is the powder. Now, what we want to do this, they're easy to apply. Again, these are all really easy things to do. If you think about it, I just put the hairdryer on it, worked my fingers through it, a bit of salt spray, and that was it, right? Now, we do this, just shake it on. So again, there's not a lot of hold in it, it just gives you a nice direction, okay? What you do, work it through your hair. And all that will do is bring out exactly what you came in with. A nice bit of wave, movement, separation, control, and that'll work for as long as your hair gets. So it's a product that you can have throughout the growing process. It's not a product that you need to change. Like you're saying with the clay and the pomade. Yeah. You buy them, you spend 20 quid on a product, you can't use it after 4 weeks. That just sits in the shelf going off, and then you lose the hold, you lose the strength, and you put it in the bin. This is a product that you can use all the time. It's something you could use to get a bit more volume in the hair if you want to. You can use it to get more texture if you want to. You know, you can use it to add thickness. Rub it into the root, rub it into your scalp, you get more volume. You know what I mean? There's loads of things you can do, but essentially today, I'm using it for kind of shape and control. That's what I'm trying to go for. And all I want you to do is just, for the next 3 months, play around with your hair. Get used to it. That's it.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah? Happy, man?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Would you mind showing me your end goal before you go?
Yeah, 100%. So, here he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Don't know who he is.
He's got cracking hair though, man.
He's got great hair.
He's a handsome man, isn't he?
We'll have to do a shot with me with the hands like that, looking pensive as well when it's all done.
Well, you know what? In the studio, right, the plan is, and this isn't a joke, I'm not even winding up, this is a genuine thing. We're going to try and get some photographs of the clients who are in the chair and have them on our wall, right? And we're going to use the local area to get some really nice lifestyle shots. That was what we were talking about earlier on. We'll get one of you doing that if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hands like this. We'll get you on a landscape picture right by the door there. Yeah, we'll immortalise it, mate. Why not? That could be your end goal. You know what I mean?